Very nonchalant. Hey, Xavier.
Yes.
You ready to start on your next project?
Yes.
You ready too, Archer?
Yeah.
It is the exhaust.
Now we can do spoilers.
So from the last video that we did, it was the front pipe. The one before that was the down pipe. Now we have the full rest of the exhaust, all the way to the exhaust tips. The company that we went with was Thermal R&D. Now, the reason why I went with this company was because it gave the car a much deeper sound with the full exhaust on there. So let's get it unboxed and show you guys what we have. So in the box we have some stickers and a license plate holder. We also have our clamps with our gasket for the front pipe. This is going to be one rear side, and that is going to be the other one. But the main part we need for the front pipe is going to be this one. This will connect to the front pipe over here. This is where our gasket goes. And then that back part goes to the rest of the vehicle. So, let's get it up in the air. But before we do that, let's start it up and see how it sounds. Is it in neutral?
Yes.
How do we know?
If you can go left to right.
There you go, give it a little wiggle action. All right, start it up. Foot all the way down. All right, now you're gonna give it a couple of revs with that front pipe on there. Go ahead. All right, a couple more. All right, now that we got the car off the ground, all 4 jack stands in place, I have my jacks as 2 safety points, one on the rear, which this didn't reach up enough, but you can still see there's a little gap in there, but it can sit there as a safety just in case one of the jacks should fail. And then I have one up at the front also, right there. So the first thing we'll start with is removing this side because the rest of it is all connected. And then we'll work our way down to the front pipe. So as for these 2 bolts right here, holding on the driver's side exhaust tip, it's gonna be a 14 millimeter. See if that focuses in, 14 millimeter. And I'm just gonna use the impact. Go ahead and just take those off because we're not gonna use them anymore, but also it'll be a lot quicker. The other thing I went ahead and got was this exhaust removal tool to help with these hangers because I knew I wouldn't have much leverage to get these out, and using my hands is gonna be quite difficult. Got that side up, pretty simple. Now, after I got this side out, I'm gonna transition to the front because I don't want the pressure of all of this hanging down before I unbolt that at the front. So I'm gonna work my way there, then get the hangers on the way to the rear. All right, let's get some focus here. So one of the easier things for me to do was remove these nuts and also the bolts because this is an aftermarket front pipe. If you have the factory front pipe on here, these studs are going to be coming out so that way the nut will fit over them, but the studs will not come out. So you're going to have a much more difficult time taking this out from here. You're going to have to like remove all the rest of it first before this will slide out. But since I have an aftermarket one that already has nuts and bolts on there, they already came out. Now it's just hanging loose. And I worked my way back to this front hanger. This front hanger does have an orientation on it where these letters are down here and Honda is going to be at the top. So I'll just leave this like this, and I'll come back to it once I'm ready to get the new second muffler on here. Now I'm going to work my way back to the next couple of hangers that are back here, remove those, and we'll be on our way to start installing the new stuff. All right, now that I got those two hangers off, got this one off, those are the last ones that were hanging on. For everything else, we already got the front, so now everything will come straight out. I just have it wedged into one of the support sides on the part of this, but it's not actually in the hole, so. Now that it's out, it's on the ground. Now comparing the parts that just came off to what's in my hand, you can see just how much bigger this pipe is. Now let's start putting it together and get it in there. One piece at a time though. So this will be the first piece. First thing I have to do is put these portions into the exhaust hangers. Then I'll get my new gasket to throw on here in between this and the front pipe that we have. And then put the bolts right through, as well as the nuts, so that way I can snug this up. The rest of it though will be held together by those clamps. So we'll have to loosely fit them and then make sure all of our adjustments are good before we tighten it all down. Now, luckily for me, I kept the gasket from my new front pipe, which is a lot thicker from the PRL front pipe as opposed to the new gasket they gave me with this exhaust. So I'm not really sure what you're doing there, thermal R&D, but this gasket is, I don't know. We're gonna use this one. So the easier thing for me to do, as opposed to trying to fit this in and then put this in, was just to take this off. And as you see here, up is there with the word Honda on top. So what I'll do is I'll just take this, fit it on my exhaust pipe, and then get my pipe up there so that way I can just slide it back. Now that we got our first pipe on there, which you can see right down there, it's time to get our second one out of the box. And here I have the world's best helper. Thanks for all the help, kid. And where's your brother? He's gone too, huh?
I got these.
Anyway, here we have our next piece of exhaust. All right, now that we have our next one out, you can just see, once again, the size difference between these two. Now, before we can fit this on here, we do have to get one of our large clamps, so that way we can use this clamp to go from this one to the sister part on the other side to join them together. All right, now we got our second part on here, our Y. I have that loosely fitted down there. Now we're gonna start working on the rest of these that are also in the hangers over here. So the next part to go on would be the actual muffler portion that goes into this hanger right here. Now for the muffler, this portion here, that extension is going to use these other two ones here. Now these two are going to be for the exhaust tips, and we'll get to those here shortly. But for now, I'll get these on here. But I'm going to measure out with my Sharpie 1.5 inches in, because this entire thing is 3 inches long. So I want that 1.5 inch overhang to be exact on each portion. All right, now that we have our mufflers on there, our final hangers in place, last thing we can start doing is working on our exhaust tips. Now, instead of going the traditional route, I chose the black exhaust tips because I'm not a fan of all the chrome. So that black is really gonna pop right here. Still waiting on this rear diffuser to come in, but Let's get them on and see how they look. All right, and now we have everything the way we want. So it's time to screw everything all together, tighten up all the connecting joints, and work my way down, drop it to the ground, and start her up. Then we can hear how it sounds. Now that we got everything in place, I like the black. I can dig it. Just waiting for this. And eventually, when a spoiler comes out for this, we'll definitely have that. But for now, it'll work. Now let's hear it. I think we can hear some sweet noises now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Sounds beautiful.
Think so?
Yep.
I think so too.
Daddy, do you want to stop the video?
If you like what you see on the channel or you like this content, go ahead and like, subscribe, comment down below, and let us know what you think. And we'll have a couple more projects for you guys. Until then,
Bye.
peace. Till the next one.